So yeah, it's very interesting and very different. It was always a trip doing some of these shows because, we would advertise it as, featuring myself from Ministry Revco. And so we would get some fans, some like Ministry Revco fans there, along with all these ravers. So it was like, we'd be playing like these I remember playing this rave in Albuquerque, and it was like 1,000 people, right? And like the front row were like all these like Revolting Cox ministry shirts, and people like headbanging, and then like you'd see all the glow sticks and stuff like behind them dancing and stuff. So it was different. It was interesting, but I had a lot of fun with that. It was cool because we were doing the songs. We would do a song like Land of Rape and Honey, which, Ministry hadn't played in forever. And we did it in kind of a dance format. And I would just come up with like different guitar riffs and stuff on the spot. So there wasn't ever like any two shows that were alike. So that was real cool for me because it kept me on my toes as far as my playing goes. And it was interesting for the crowd as well. So,
Yeah, that's really cool. A lot of people that I know have made the argument that like industrial and all that rave stuff is not that different. It's just the degree of distortion, really.
You know what? I mean, there is a truth to that. There is a truth to that. It's slightly, the styles are a little different. Once you get more in depth and you really look at both of those, styles, you do see the differences, but there is definitely a similarity there. Absolutely.
That's cool that they should mush more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very Prodigy-like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of what this stuff ends up doing. But imagine that, like, with like Ministry or Revco or like old classic kind of industrial songs, and then it sounds more like a band. Like when you go to like a dance club or like a goth club or industrial club or whatever, you're just listening to like a CD or you're just listening to that. We bring kind of a live experience to it.
You don't get
exactly. Yeah.
That's the one thing that's different, I'd say, about industrials. There's more live instruments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. And it's good to bring that to that. That reminds me of, actually, we kind of we did meet at this club called Fetish Nation, which has a raver like club attached to it. So it's funny because you get that where you have like guys with glow sticks wandering around in the goth room like, oh crap, I'm lost.
I was one of those guys that wandered into the wrong room.
Oh, I did that
and
too.
And I was like, I thought I was in the wrong club, like altogether. And I'm like walking around with my buddy and I'm like, man, I think we're in the wrong place, because it was like hardcore, just like rave kind of thing. But then I realized there were other rooms attached to that place. But actually that place, they're interested in possibly having Revamp play there.
Ooh, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've been in talks with, I think, is it Cameron or Jason? The guys that run...
Cameron.
Yeah. The guys that run that, they're real interested in that.
Right. So I was going to say, before the interview, we were talking about how you wrote a good amount of the ministry stuff. So you came from being in Society 1 to being a touring guitarist for Revolting Cox to helping write a ministry album. How crazy was that?
I still don't believe it. I'm sitting here now years later, and I still don't believe it. I'm extremely grateful, to Al Jorgensen for believing in me and giving me that opportunity. I hadn't written with anybody else, prior to my previous band, and I was in that band from '99 till 2005. So I didn't know what it was going to be like. I didn't know if he was going to like my material. I had that I'm not worthy kind of mentality when I went into it, because this was one of my biggest influences. And so basically what happened is, after I did that Revolting Cox tour as just a touring guitar player, he asked me to write music for the new, Ministry record, which was then the 2007's The Last Sucker album. And I just started writing stuff that I thought he would dig, and he flew me out to El Paso. He put me right in the studio, and thank God he liked what I was doing. And I ended up writing like half of that album and playing guitar on that record and bass. And that was it. From that point on is when he kind of asked me to be a part of it. And then right after that record, I think we did either the cover-up album, the Ministry cover-up record, which we had a song nominated for a Grammy last year on that album, and then went right into writing the Revolting Cox's Sexo Olympico album. And I ended up writing most of the music on that thing, along with Josh Bradford and Clayton Warbeck. So
I guess he just knew. I mean, it just clicked musically.
it did. That's the only thing I can say is it absolutely clicked. Thank God it clicked, for him. I mean, it clicked for me, but I didn't know if he was going to dig, my writing. But I tried to, ask him questions on what he wanted, and I just kind of took it from there. And he was always amazing in the studio. He gave me a lot of freedom and kind of let me do my thing. And then he would come in and just be very positive and just kind of like guide me in certain directions. And he was able to get a lot of good performances out of me, which I never had before. I never had a producer that was able to do that in a very positive way. I mean, I was able to do things with ministry that I didn't know I was capable of doing because there were certain things that I had never played before. But he somehow, I don't know, he just somehow knew that I would be able to do it. And I guess just in his, throughout the years of his being a producer, was able to just get that out of me. So, yeah, thank God it clicked.
Yeah, because, I mean, Society One had done, like, big tours and stuff, but, I mean, ministry's, like you said, an influence, like, legendary,
Absolutely.
You wouldn't be thinking you would join this.
No, never in a million years. Never, I mean, never in my wildest dreams. I mean, it's just funny how, life happens and how life works out. I remember being in high school and, driving around, going to my garage band's, rehearsals, and I'd be listening to In Case You Didn't Feel Like Showing Up Live, I mean, on cassette in my car, and just like showing up to my bands and rehearsals and telling the guys, man, listen to these guys, like, we got to do something cool like this, and those guys looking at me like I was crazy, and then to now be in the studio with Al and having Al sitting there asking me what I think and asking my opinion on things. It's surreal. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Crazy. Yeah. And all the guys that we've, that I've had the pleasure of meeting, because of Al, doing stuff with the guys from Cheap Trick, and everything I've learned from this whole ministry, Revolting Cox experience, which I will hopefully now apply to other things that I do as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, the other project, what was it called again? I'm sorry.
Captain Big Shot.
Captain Big Shot.
Yeah, and it's not spelled, it's CAPT _, Big Shot. Yeah.
And are you doing a lot of writing on that too?
Oh yeah.
And how is that different from, Revco?
I would say it's a tough question because it's more experimental in a way than a Revolting Cox song would be. At least sorry, that's a clock over there. We're not like, we don't want to be held down to any type of rules with Captain Big Shot. If we want to do a real heavy song, we're going to do a real heavy song. If we want to do a real commercial, catchy, rock song, we're going to do that as well. It's a little bit more open, and we're encouraging everybody in the band to write. So, and all the guys write in the band, and they're all great musicians and great writers. So we'll see what ends up happening with this project. But we're very, very excited and very positive on it.
Sweet.
Yeah. So. It's it's myspace.com/Captain CAPT Big Shot.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we'll check that out.
Yes.
Along with all the other stuff if you haven't already.
If you can keep track of all this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, gotta buy Ministry, gotta buy Revolting Cox, gotta buy a car stereo.
Everything. Yeah. Do it all.
Got it all.
Like a one-stop shop here. We do it all. You need a song, come see me. You need a stereo, just come on by.
There you go. He's got you covered, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
So on that note, I guess we'll wrap it up. Cool. So thanks for doing this interview, and yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Been a pleasure. Thanks for coming out and listening to me babble.
Always. That is what we do. We love to talk.
Cool.
So, all right. Peace out.
Peace out. Got it?
You always get this.